Hi friends, kumusta? So welcome back. For today's video, we will be talking about the letter of support or the affidavit of support. Yes, this is one of the most important documents that you need to obtain in applying for Canada Study Permit. By the way, I will share to you what are the important details that your affidavit of support should have. This is based on my experience, and the documents that I will be providing were submitted to IRCC when I was applying to be an international student here in Canada. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Jason Jim and I am making videos about international students, workers, or even residents here in Canada. So don't forget to click the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I suggest to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. I also recommend to watch till the end of the video because I will be sharing to you how much was my proof of funds when I was applying for an international student. And also, I will be indicating the easiest way or the formula for you to know how much you should have for your proof of funds here in Canada. Are you ready? Let's begin. Alright, so if you plan to study here in Canada as an international student, there are a lot of documents that you need to comply. So it depends on what type of study permit application you are going to pursue. And it might be regular stream or the student direct stream, or what you call the SDS. I have videos on how to apply Canada Study Permit through SDS and regular stream. So I suggest to watch those videos for you to know more about these programs and how to apply with these two types of application to get a study permit. By the way, just a disclaimer, the documents that I will be sharing to you are my own copies. And these were the documents that I submitted to IRCC when I was applying for Canada Study Permit. And luckily, it was successful. That's why I am here to share with you. Okay, so as I have mentioned, one of the most important documents that you need to comply when you are applying for Canada Study Permit is your letter of support or the affidavit of support. So what is this document for? So the letter of support or the affidavit of support is a financial documentation showing how will you pay for your tuition fee and for your daily expenses here in Canada. And if you will go to IRCC website, there is a list on how to prove that you can support yourself or even your family members who will be coming with you while you are studying here in Canada. Because as you know, if you apply for the Canada Study Permit, you can bring your family, you can bring your spouse or your common law partner, and even your kids. And I will also let you know how much is the minimum proof of funds or POF for each member or for the whole family. So stay tuned in a while. Alright, so going back to the list, you can provide your fund with the first one is proof of Canadian bank account in your name if you transferred money to Canada. So if you decided to transfer your bank account from your home country's currency to Canadian dollar, you can also provide that information in your application. The second one is Guaranteed Investment Certificate or the GIC from a participating Canadian financial institution. So this GIC is actually can be done through SDS or the student direct stream, but you can also provide this in the regular stream. And I made a video about SDS specifically with these details about GIC, so check it out. The third one is the proof of a student or education loan from a bank. So if you decide to apply for a loan for your education, you can also provide that information in your application. The next one is a bank draft that can be converted to Canadian dollars. You can also provide the proof that you paid your tuition and housing fees. There is also a letter from a person or school giving you money. So it means to say that if someone is sponsoring you, someone is supporting you, you can also provide those letters so that you can also include it in your application. And the last one is the proof of funding paid from within Canada if you have a scholarship or are in a Canadian funded educational program. So like what I mentioned, if someone is sponsoring you, for like example, an organization, a school, or any institution, you should also provide a letter coming from them that they will be supporting and sponsoring you throughout your education. So those are the proof of financial support that you can indicate or provide in your application. Alright, so let us now go to my personal letter of support that I submitted to IRCC when I was applying for Canada's study permit. Just to give you a little background, my parents supported me throughout my education here in Canada. My mom is a great housewife and my dad was the only one that time that was working. So most probably, and most of the documents that I provided are from my dad's employment and financials. So basically in my application, we provided two types of letters. The first letter is the explanation of funding support that comes from me, and the second one is the financial support that comes from my father or from my parents. So I have here with me the copy of the letter of funding support that I submitted to IRCC. It says here, this is to explain the funding support requirements of my student visa application. My father will be funding my postgraduate diploma in Global Hospitality Management and Global Business Management expenses. Thus, as follows are supporting documents regarding our financial capability to complete my post-secondary education in Canada. I will be presenting my father's bank account, such as, and the name of the bank, the account number, and the surplus money. So total money available to support my education in Canada is. In addition, I have also attached the following evidences of previous earnings and ties of my father, such as bank statement and certificate, retirement fund breakdown and company certification, identifications, letter of financial support, and affidavit. So in the explanation of funding of support, the most important details that you need to obtain in this letter are who will be supporting you, the programs, you can also add your school and the number of years of studies, bank accounts, supporting documents like, as I have mentioned, the bank statement, bank certificates, employment documents, identifications, and letter of financial support and affidavit, which is the second letter that my father provided in my application. So for the letter of financial support, it says here that this is to confirm that I am father of Jason Jim and that I will financially support my son during his studies. He will be studying a 2-year postgraduate program diploma in Global Hospitality Management and Global Business Management at Conestoga College for 2 years. I can provide him all expenses while he is studying in Canada, including the tuition fee, accommodation, and daily expenditures. The fund came from my retirement benefit. From my previous company, I worked for 23 years as a senior process engineer. Therefore, I will provide all of the required fees of my son during his stay in Canada. I guarantee that my son, Jason Jim, will have no difficulties in Canada and will obey all the laws and regulations. I am willing to bear responsibility if any problems happen. I have enclosed the necessary documents as support and give my consent to the funds being available to my son for the study in Canada. Thank you for your time and consideration. As you can see in the letter of financial support, I indicated that my father will support all of the expenses like the tuition fee, the accommodation, and the daily expenses. The letter also included the school, programs, and number of year of studies. It also indicated where the money came from and the full responsibility and assurance to Canada that I won't be a burden to the country. So with the supporting documents, all of those documents were notarized, such as the retirement fund and breakdown, certificate of employment, compensation, the ITR or the income tax return, identifications with signatures. So again, these documents were notarized so that this will serve legal documentation as I submitted and as I provided to IRCC to process my application. Okay, so before I share with you the amount of my POF or the proof of fund, I just want to let you know that I also made a video about the letter of explanation or the study plan. And there are 7 different samples of LOEs which are successful because they actually came from my friends who also studied here in Canada. And I really hope that helps you on how to make and on how to write an SOP. So check that out. So with regards to the POF or the proof of funds for Canada study permit, this is the minimum required for the regular stream application in all provinces of Canada except Quebec. So if a person coming to Canada is the student alone, the amount of funds required per year that doesn't include the tuition fee is 10,000 Canadian dollars. And if the first family member, like the spouse or the common law partner, you need to add 4,000 Canadian dollars. And if ever you have one child with you that you will come in Canada, you should also add 3,000 Canadian dollars. So if, for example, there are 3 members in one family, the amount of funds required per year would be 17 Canadian dollars excluding the tuition fee. And here is the minimum proof of fund required in Quebec. So as I have promised, back then when I was applying for Canada study permit, I was under with an agency. And that time, my agency was asking me to provide minimum of 700,000 Philippine pesos for my proof of funds. So if you don't know, I took 2 programs here in Canada, and those programs were for 2 years. And that time, my agency just required me to provide and to comply at least for the 1-year proof of funds, which my program had also 2 academic semesters. Okay, so basically the easiest way or the easiest formula for you to compute your POF, which is the minimum for the student, it should be the tuition fee plus the required fund per year. So I will give you an example. In my case, in my first program, I already paid the first semester, which is like around 8,000 Canadian dollars as required by the schools. So I will not include that in the POF during my application. My program had 2 academic semesters, so I need to include in my POF the second payment for my second semester. So it is again around 8,000 Canadian dollars plus the required fund per year, which is 10,000 Canadian dollars. So it is equal to 18,000 Canadian dollars. So that 18,000 Canadian dollars should be the payment or the amount in my proof of funds. As I have mentioned to you earlier, my agency was requiring me to provide at least 700,000 Philippine pesos. So most roughly, it is the same amount from the 18,000 Canadian dollars. But take note, of course, the more or the high proof of fund, the better. Because if you will provide higher and bigger amount of proof of fund, you have a higher chance of approval. And those are amounts for the proof of funds and the tuition fee alone. And if you want to know more about the total cost of Canada study permit, I made a video about those information, and in that video I also shared how I only paid 3 academic semesters in my 2 programs instead of 4. So it means to say that I saved 25% in the total of the tuition fee that I paid. So watch that video as well. So I really hope that this video helps you, especially in writing affidavit of support or letter of support, and including the computation and the formula of the proof of funds. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. Thank you so much again. My name is Jason Jim. See you to my next video.